Alright, I'm Aries Valor. This kind of pilot video here. I have the names covered up. Obviously, if you were trying hard enough and at the end the names will pop up, I'll try to stop that, but I'm not going to go too in depth on that. I want it to be a little discreet, not trying to make somebody feel bad or anything. I'm just trying to help the team out and help the players out in their attacks as well. I've looked through most all the attacks today and realized that a lot of them are missing fundamentals. So if you all like this, let me know. If you don't like it, you feel like it's calling people out, I can not make these. It's fine either way. I'll get more structured if you guys want to and say it kind of in points. So this one's gonna be a little messy, being obviously the first one, and a little longer, obviously, because I'm giving an intro here. But yeah, so I'm not going to cover the meta attack for every single town hall because I don't know them. It's been a long time since I've been to lower town halls, so I don't know those. But what I do understand is there's some major fundamental issues that I think a lot of people can take away here, and the individual, if they want to watch the video, who did the attacks as well, can take away. Okay, so we'll start with this one. Watched it a couple times. So we got the queen down here in the bottom left corner, which is fine. Actually, what we'll do off the start is we'll go ahead and look at the hero's gear. Not gonna be overly critical on all this. The gear looks good there, and there. So everybody's, as long as this one's timed correctly, which again, we'll go over it a little more in a bit. So we got the king down, and some witches and siege equipment. So right now this is going to be probably close to one of the first mistakes. I've watched this already, so I know it continues and kind of becomes a more long-term issue. But we put down the witches first, which yes, they do have their little skeletons guarding them, but they are more damage dealing. They're a fragile troop. So the theme in this is that there's going to be 3 points that I'm going to try to help everybody take away here. And the first one's going to be these Yetis should have came out first. They're tankier, they have a lot of health, they move slower. They should have been out first. The witches don't really have much cover in that aspect. What I will say, as far as dealing with walls, which we'll talk about that here a little more in a bit, they're doing excellent. So they've chosen the side with the multi-target Inferno, the Eagle Artillery, over the monolith. I like that. The Eagle Artillery in these lower town halls need to be taken out. You can't have it up and running a lot of the time, which one of the other attacks I looked at stayed up till pretty much the end, which is not good. So you got to knock that out. So dropping this siege equipment to handle these walls, very good. They dropped the earthquake spells, was able to get into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quadrants. You can count that one as a 6 if you want. I wouldn't really count it. So 5 quadrants, and lined up well with the siege equipment, so that's good. Again, I'd like to see those Yetis out first, because right now, if you look, a lot of the Hog Riders came out. I kind of missed it, but they're mostly dead at this point, and this is very quickly into the game. So a lot of the things that can't afford to get hit are put out first and hit. We'll see this in a minute, but they'll also drop the bowlers next. Then I think the P.E.K.K.A.s and the Yetis, which is, again, that is one of the first main point. It's inverse. It's backwards as to what it should be. The Yetis should come out first, then the P.E.K.K.A.s, then the bowlers, then the witches, and so on. And we'll see how this continues to become a problem. Yeah, so the bowlers came out next, and the Yetis are still held back. Now the Yetis are coming in. Okay, so the next point I'd like to make is this heal spell. So this heal spell could have been better used over here. Let's see if we can get some health bars a little better. There we go. A lot more stuff's died. You can replay this back. But so right now we have a queen with a unicorn. The queen also has 3 healers. Okay, the queen is only being hit by a couple of defenses and has half health. There's no reason to drop this heal spell. This attacker is a little too concerned about making sure their queen's alive and not the bulk of their army that's actually going to win the fight. These heroes are powerful, in and of themselves, but they're just a tool. Your bulk, your army has got to survive, not focused on just a hero. If this, like, let's say this heal spell puts down 10 health per second per troop or something. I'm just making up a number here, but in this last 5 seconds, well, you got 50 health out of this spell. But if you put it over here with maybe 10 troops, you probably got 500 health out of that spell. They desperately need it over here because their health bars are pretty low, a lot of them, and several. I know these are enemy CC troops, but a lot of troops have died. You can play this back, and a lot of them they'll end up dying in this section about up here. So that was way better used over here. Right now it's manageable. She's getting hit a little bit. If her health dips, pop the the ability. I mean, you'll have the unicorn and the healers. If she dies, so be it. Again, the bulk of your army needs to survive. So this was a very wasted heal spell, and you'll see how this plays out into the rest of the battle, how this was a wasted heal spell. It should have been here in the center. I like to make a note while we're talking about spells. This haste spell should not be used. One, it's not maxed, and two, even if it was maxed, it should not be used. The only time, and again, you guys can contest this a little bit. I'm not the guru of all Clash of Clans, although I have a very good working knowledge of it. The haste spell is going to be good for a troop that deals high damage but moves slow. You could argue P.E.K.K.A.s on that, but that's not what they would be used for. They're going to be used more for like looms, like balloons. So this should not be used at all. That would be much better. You get way more value if you had like a freeze spell or something. Again, with this heal spell, way more value if it's in the middle, or if you had a rage to punch out the middle. You don't want these up and running for a long period of time. You want to punch out that middle as fast as you can. So that's my second point, is that heal spell. You'll see my third and final point here in a second, and there it is. This jump spell, so the thing of it is here is, if we go, you rewatch the video, the siege equipment was put in a great spot. That's going to handle walls. You got the king has the earthquake boots. That's going to handle walls really well. This was a really well placed earthquake spell, or series of earthquake spells that opened many quadrants. Your troops don't need to freely walk into beyond every wall. They can manage. They're going to punch through walls just fine. They'll get bogged down if they're doing it all by themselves, but you have more than enough equipment here. My assessment would be that this attacker is a little too intimidated, or a little too worried or focused on walls. They had plenty of stuff. If you could really perfect attack, I would actually just go in with the siege equipment and the earthquake boots. I would even get rid of the earthquake spells. But, I mean, if you're not as comfortable, this is a great move right here. This is highly excessive. There's no need for this. In the battle, it actually doesn't get utilized. But even if it did get utilized, it's still, you're losing value with that, trying to deal with that many walls. This was better to be, again, a couple freeze spells to stop these defenses from putting damage on you, or a rage. I'm not as big a fan of heal spells, but because when you're the attacker, I see a lot in these themes too, is that people kind of play defensive. They want to heal their troops instead of just wiping out the defenses and getting on through. So again, we'll see how it plays out in real time here in a second. But my 3 points that I want to say on this particular attack is: one, the troops are inverse. You're putting your troops that can't take damage first, and the troops that are tanky that should take the damage second. The Yeti should have went out first, and then troops after that. A misplaced heal is not needed for that. You had plenty of stuff to be able to make sure she stays alive. May not even need to pop the ability. She might just stay alive on her own with the unicorn. Who knows? So there's no need to jump the gun on that. And this is entirely too much wall mitigation. You have plenty of stuff to deal with walls. If you were to keep your troops alive long enough, they can bust through those walls. No problem with that. So that spell would be better used if it was, again, something other, like a freeze or a rage or something of that nature. So we'll go through the whole attack here real time. Now the Yetis are in here taking all this damage. You see everything focused on. If you had troops that did high damage, like Valkyries or something come in, they can hit a lot of this while everything's focused on the Yetis. Yetis are doing excellent. You got healers on them. They're taking a lot of damage. Everything's focused on them. You could have high damage dealing troops come in afterwards, but the Yetis can't do it on their own. They're just taking damage till they ultimately die. And that's what they're going to do. They're slow moving. They're going to do their job. They're going to, and same with the P.E.K.K.A.s. They're going to take all that damage till they die. Now the queen was, I felt that, this attacker was a little too worried about walls. Couldn't utilize most of the base because the troops weren't taken care of well enough. So, focus some of your spells more towards damage dealing like Rage or damage mitigation like Freeze. Don't take so much in the way of walls. You're fine with that. The queen really focused on making sure the queen was healed. You can go back and watch this, but she did have the unicorn did die. She did have the 3 healers. They did die too, but she's at a good health this far. I mean, she's made it this far. If she dies, that's okay. Again, it's about the bulk of your army and protecting that. She's already covered the left flank. She's all that's left. So what is she going to do? She's not going to win the battle itself, and you'll see here in a second. I do need to pause it though because it'll show their name. Her health, basically, I need to pause it there. But if you replay it, the health totally, all the health that we worked on getting for her is wiped out in a matter of seconds because so much defenses are hitting her. So to recap one last time, I would add more rage spells, more freeze spells. I'd kind of get rid of the healing spells, but I definitely I would not use a haste spell. I would get rid of you keep or get rid of the earthquake spells. And I would get rid of the jump spell. Make sure you put out your Yetis, your slow troops that take a lot of damage first, so they can soak up that damage so your other troops can come in, like your bowlers, your hog riders, your witches can come in behind and actually hit those defenses. And your queen's fine. She's got plenty of stuff to keep her alive. If she dies, so be it. Work on better placement or something like that. Don't focus a whole spell on one troop. So, and the walls. You got enough with your king and your siege equipment, the earthquake spells. So you could have freed up 2 spells right there for your bulk troops in the middle. Put them inverse. You could have wiped out another at least 20% more of this base. You had at least 81, and you could have 3-starred it. I guarantee you would have had at least 20% more doing all those things. So just work on that. I think that'll do better. Like I said, this one's a little long-winded. If you guys like these videos, I will work on being more structured and not taking up so much of your time, but getting the points across. Some feedback would be good. If you do like me to go forward with it, feedback. That way I can make them better on how you all want to see this. If not, if you think it's calling out people or thinking negatively of this, I think this actually helps people, and I'm willing to give my time for it. But if people don't like it, I don't have to do this either. Let me know what you guys think.